Hi everyone, welcome back to our video series on the new digital SAT verbal section. Don't forget to follow us and comment below on additional content you'd like to see. All right, so for today we have one of these data questions. We have our graph, pretty apparent there. So looking at our question, which choice best describes data from the graph that weaken the student's conclusion? All right, this is why we always read the question first, okay? Sometimes they like to throw these words in there. Instead of strengthen, which is what we typically expect, we actually have weaken in here. All right, so we want to make sure that as we're reading, we're thinking about something that would weaken the conclusion that they're making, or essentially kind of prove the opposite if we want to think of it that way instead. So looking at our passage, to investigate the effect of lizard predation on spider populations, a student in a biology class placed spiders in two enclosures, one with lizards and one without, and tracked the number of spiders in the enclosures for 30 days. The student concluded that the reduction in the spider population count in the enclosure with lizards by day 30 was entirely attributable to the presence of the lizards. All right, so this is their conclusion here, right at the end. So essentially the spider population went down in that one tank that they had, and that the student said that that was only because of the fact that the lizards were in there. So that's what they had in the one condition. And then in the other condition, there was one enclosure that had no lizards. So the spiders should have all lived, essentially. So for proving the opposite of that, we need something that suggests, that either, the reduction in the spider population was not entirely attributable to the presence of the lizards. So some other thing must have been causing the spider population to go down besides just the lizards being present. So if we look at our graph for a second, that's our next step. So again, we have the spider population count and then the day of the experiment, and then we have our two conditions, no lizards versus with lizards. And you can see they both start out the same on day 1. Then by day 10, there are less spiders in both conditions, though significantly less in the one with the lizards. So we can see they're both going down in both conditions, but not at the same rate. The one with the lizards is definitely going down much faster. So if we're looking at our question here again, we're looking at data from the graph that weaken the student's conclusion. So let's look at our options. So A, the spider population count was the same in both enclosures on day 1. Okay, that is true. However, it does not align with what the claim is. There's kind of two parts to these questions, both matching the graph or table and then also matching the claim. So in this case, it is accurate to the graph, but it is not accurate to the claim. Then we have the spider population count also substantially declined by day 30 in the enclosure without lizards. This seems like an option, right? If we're saying that the spider population was only due to the lizards being there, that was what caused the reduction, then if there was something else going on, that would have to be the reason why there were also less spiders in the enclosure without the lizards. So we'll leave that one. Then C, the largest decline in spider population count in the enclosure with lizards occurred from day 1 to day 10. So again, this is true. However, it doesn't differentiate between the two conditions, right? Which is what we're focusing on here. So then D, the spider population count on day 30 was lower in the enclosure with lizards than in the enclosure without lizards. So this one might more so support the student's conclusion, right? But we're looking here for the trend overall. So it's still not going to be D, and we need something that weakens that conclusion. So we are going to go with B, the one that we originally thought was right. And yeah, B is going to be our right answer. Okay, follow us for more.